Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima. Over the course of 2026, I'm playing the game Persona 3 Reload. Only I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to match the pace of the game. That's right, I'm playing this game one real day at a time. Please enjoy this different take on the game in a series I'm calling Persona a Day. Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much for being here today. It's always nice to see everybody ready and excited to go. I am Tom Shima, and let's have some fun today. As we've been doing, I'm going to be continuing our playthrough of Persona 3 Reload in the series I'm calling Persona a Day. In this series, I am playing the game one real day at a time as it lines up with the calendar in the game. It's been kind of wild to look back and think that it's been 3 weeks since this series began. We arrived at the dorm on April 6th, and we've been steadily progressing one day at a time. And it's already 3 weeks in. I've really enjoyed this so far, and I hope you all have too. It's given me a different appreciation to the game, and it's just given me a new connection to the world that I'm really enjoying. So we're going to continue that series, of course, today. It is Monday, April 27th, so that's where we're going to be in-game when we get there. And as I like to do, I like to kind of structure the stream and our viewing experience here by starting off with a recap of what we did yesterday, just to kind of catch everybody up and make sure, for those that missed something or just don't have some of that context, that we're all watching the same thing today. So, once we're all caught up then, I will move into today's gameplay. Then we'll see where that takes us. I'm not using any guides or walkthroughs, so I'm trying to just kind of organically make those choices in the moment. Good or bad, they're going to be our choices. And then after the fact, after the gameplay portion is done, we'll kind of regroup here and talk about it a little bit. Move on with our day from there. So, let's look back first. Yesterday was Sunday, April 26th, so there was no school. The first time in a while we haven't had school. And our first real, actual, honest, full day off. Some of you might remember the previous Sunday, our character was still a little out of sorts and pretty tired, so he ended up sleeping most of the day away and didn't wake up until the evening, which kind of limited how much we could do for spending our free time. But we had a lot more opportunity this week to actually get up to some stuff. So as the day began, we actually got a call pretty early from our friend Kenji Tomochika, and he was just kind of wondering, if we were up to anything, if we wanted to hang out with him that day. And since we didn't have any plans specifically, I decided, there's nothing pressing going on that we had, already penciled in as an idea, so he took the time to reach out to us. I decided it would be kind of fun to just, be a high school guy and, see what he wanted to do that day. So we left and we got out and did whatever we did. It showed us a few things. We stopped at the music store next to the arcade at the Paulownia Mall, and you just kind of shopped there a little bit, and came out, was talking about style and, our appearance. He was like, he said he had some ideas on, things we could improve, and so I indulged him and, asked, okay, what could I do to be better? He said, I've got good features, but with a little bit of a change to my style, I could really shine a bit more. And he had that, I don't want to say ulterior motive, but secondary motive of, the better I look, the better wingman I would be for him and his, romantic endeavors. So it was just kind of cool to have that high school guy friendship and just, talk about the random stuff. I also kind of liked that it showed us those couple things, but, we spent the entire day until the evening with Kenji. So it was also kind of fun to just kind of interpret, what it didn't show us. I mean, I'm sure we got up to all sorts of mundane, average, everyday things, but it kind of just builds out the world a bit more. I kind of talked, during the stream yesterday about some ideas of, maybe we, just chatted, maybe we got lunch somewhere and just, took the day as it came. It wasn't necessarily just what it showed us that we did. I kind of want to interject a little bit more of that into my interpretation of the playthrough to make it feel more like we're in a world and we're doing things. So we spent some fun time with our friend there from school, got to know him a little bit more, he got to know us a little bit more, and we got to just have an actual real full day off, which we haven't had yet before. So I like to think that it was a nice, relaxing day to unwind for us. And with that, we returned to the dorm in the evening, and we checked in on everyone. We talked to everybody there. They were all kind of doing their own thing, be it, reading a book, checking their phone, having dinner. They were all just, living their lives. So we talked to them and just kind of caught up and saw, what they had to say to us. It seemed pretty standard, which is always a good thing. It seemed to me like they probably enjoyed their day off just like we did. And as we've been doing for the better part of a couple days now, we don't have any pressing needs to be researching or fighting the shadows, so we hadn't been going to Tartarus. We'd just kind of been focusing more on the rest of the world and the social sides of things, so we kind of kept that going in the evening yesterday as well. We were still ahead of pace on, everyone's levels and progress in the tower, so there was no immediate need to get back there. So once again, we headed out to the malls and just kind of took a stroll around to see, that high school guy with some time on his hands. Plus, it's spring. That's another thing I want to kind of lean into as well, and we are playing this alongside the real calendar, so, on a nice, spring evening with nothing to do, why not take a walk? Get out, enjoy the temperate weather, and just make the most of it. It's not the middle of summer with the heat yet. It wasn't raining or anything like that, so you got to take those nice days when you get them. So we went out, we walked around the mall, we checked in with Elizabeth and Igor in the Velvet Room, stopped and said hi to Officer Kurosawa, checked out the pharmacy again just to see what was going on there. Poked in here and there in places. We didn't just, head right to one place and spend our evening. We made it more of a journey. And at the Paulownia Mall, there is still that nightclub, the Club Escapade. And it just kind of, stuck in my head as a place I want to get into. And every time we've tried, the game has told us, we're not quite courageous enough yet. We need to be ordinary in our level of courage, and we're still, looking at being timid. So it's just kind of been in the back of my head to look for ways we can work on, building up that courage a little bit. And it's been really fun. The last few nights, we've found a variety of activities. A couple nights ago, we went to the arcade and played a game. Day before yesterday, we headed to the karaoke parlor and, just sang a solo song there and worked on some courage as the waiter came in and we got to keep singing in front of him. And then last night, there was another option. There was Wilduck Burger. They had a mystery burger special going on. So it was kind of a fun way to, try out this mystery burger. And I also tried to relate that into our exploring of the malls and think that we probably passed that burger place a few times. And, maybe we noticed the burger. We smelled the burger. It looked good. It smelled good. And so that's why we kind of ended up, returning back there. And we decided, to get something good to eat to wrap up our day off. And it also helped out with our courage a little bit since we didn't know what was in the burger, but it seemed like, we enjoyed it, so that was encouraging. So it was a low-key, low-stakes evening. We wrapped that up and we headed back to the dorm to get some rest. We're coming into a new week, so, venturing out to Tartarus in the dark hour, that might put us on the back foot as we start off another week here. So we took it easy, that we can hit the ground running this week. And so that kind of takes us to where we left off yesterday. We can get into the game today now and just see how our week starts off. For all of you, I hope your week is starting off well. I hope I can do well in the game with that. I still appreciate you being here, and I guess on all those notes, I will get us over to the game, and we will move into Monday, April 27th. Okay, so this is where we left off yesterday. That was finishing off the burger and showing that we gained some courage, but not enough to put us up to a new level. And just like that, we are caught up with the calendar, and we are back to Monday. And we're already at school at our desk, waiting for the day to begin. And we can hear some people talking.
Good morning.
Good morning. I always feel super sleepy waking up on Mondays. And there's another special morning assembly today. Didn't we just have one last week?
By the way,
Remember how Kiriju-senpai gave that great speech last week? That was a very professional sounding speech. I felt encouraged and motivated by what she had to say. It's weird to think that was a week ago as well. Continuing on, though. Apparently, that got the principal really fired up, and now he wants to make a follow-up speech. Is he motivated or is he competing?
excuse me?
Seriously? The heck? Why do we have to suffer just because he wants to stroke his ego? Yep. Maybe they're thinking the other side of things I was thinking too. Depending on the topic, though, I always kind of liked assemblies back in school. It was something outside the norm. I don't want to say it got us out of the classroom, but it was kind of that different experience that broke things up a little bit from the daily, run-of-the-mill average.
We'll now begin this morning's assembly. First, our principal has some words he'd like to share with you. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you.
What's the deal with the assembly? You think it's about the recent incidents?
Beats me. He shouldn't even know about the shadows or anything.
That's true.
I just hope this doesn't take too long.
He's not exactly known for his brevity.
Today, I'd like to tell you about my, vision for this school year.
That that one hit kind of personally. I can totally see myself, speaking just like the principal here. It's like, okay, I've got this plan, and let's start. I'd like to tell you about my vision. You can do it, principal. I believe in you.
As you are aware, strange incidents have been reported on the news lately. It is my firm belief that none of you are involved.
That is encouraging to see this top-level educator taking the side of the students on things. He's not coming out and saying, do this, don't do this. These are the expectations I have for you. It's like, you're my students, and first and foremost, I trust you. That builds a good rapport between he and I, at least.
However, the uncertainties of high school life are many, and overcoming this will require constant effort.
That's also a good point.
You must dig down deep inside, but don't worry so much that you lose touch with reality.
So this is kind of that balancing act we were talking about, or we have been talking about through this entire playthrough. And, spending our time, our resources, ourselves wisely, and doing what needs to be done in the right way.
As they say, everything in moderation.
Perfect, yes. I think to some extent that was what Kirijo was talking about in her speech last week as well, and how we, as good students, need to actually focus on the act of being good students, and to take our responsibility for that, but to also kind of, know where to focus our efforts. So that idea of everything in moderation.
This is the key to reaping all the rewards that school has to offer.
I think we can also apply that to the game here, and the reaping all the rewards that this gameplay has to offer. If every night I'm just doing the exact same activity, or focusing on one specific social link or stat, that might work from a gameplay standpoint, but I don't think it'll be as fun to experience. So we're kind of going to go away from the norm and just see where the game takes us, and not worry overly much about things, but still try to be responsible with how we make our choices. The principal continues with his speech.
Wait a minute. Doesn't this remind you of Kirijo-senpai's speech?
I was picking up a few parallels, yes.
Yeah, you're right. I guess he doesn't want to be outdone by a teenager? Can't really blame him, but still.
Although, in his defense, he was still giving us a good message. It's not like he's trying to say something totally different, or he's not saying word for word the same thing that Mitsuru had been. He's telling us his take on, this same valuable life lesson. Whatever his motives are, it's always good to hear good information. We get to go to lunch here. There's Mitsuru.
Do you have a minute? I'm sorry, but I'll need some of your time after school. I have a special request for you.
All right, this is different. And again, I've said it before, but I kind of like these interjection points where I didn't really know what our afternoon was going to bring, so to kind of have some, I don't want to say, forced direction, but just, something to kind of help us spend that time in a logical way. It's kind of nice to just see where this new event will take us. So yes, she's got some sort of special request for me after school. And I could see both of these these options here. I don't really want to question her judgment on why picking me. I like to think that if she's already coming to me to talk about it, I should trust her on that. She wouldn't have picked me, I don't think, if she didn't think it was something I was capable of or needed to do. So it almost sounds like I would be questioning her judgment by asking why me. So I'll try to get some more information on what this request is and just ask a special request.
I apologize if I'm being abrupt, but I couldn't think of a better person to ask.
Exactly, yeah. She thought we could handle it, so that's why she came to us in the first place. Why question that?
I'll tell you more about it after school. Until then.
Okay, so she's just going to kind of tease us with this information. If I were the one on the receiving end of this in class and I had to wait till after school for some mystery request, I would kind of have that dominating my thoughts for a while. Not that I don't trust, Mitsuru, but I get lost in my own head sometimes, and this wouldn't help.
Let's begin.
I also like the fact that we're not jumping right to after school, so we do have to kind of sit and think about this information. It's like, what is this special request? But at the same time, it's still school, so we're still in class. So we've got to balance this curiosity with being a student. We've got Mr. Miyahara here. All right, let's review quadratic functions. You all remember those, don't you? Sometimes the graph will be a parabola, or sometimes a hyperbola. I can read it just fine. It's getting those words to come out the right way that doesn't always work. Well, they're certainly beautiful curves, but they can't measure up to a parabolic and hyperbolic spirals. Those are algebraic spirals. Look, aren't they magnificent?
So, after that,
I do kind of like spirals like that. It's been a while since I've needed to do the math side of things, so hopefully I don't have to demonstrate too much of my actual skill there, but now then, let's see if you can answer this from a mathematical point of view. Yori-kun. Which of the following is not an algebraic spiral? I know he's asking Yori, but
wait, what?
hold up. How the heck am I supposed to know something like that? Tom, do you know which of these is not an algebraic spiral or whatever? Okay. Again, I'm not using any sort of guides or walkthroughs on this. So, for better or worse, I'm going to have to kind of reason my own way through this. Hopefully better. If nothing else in the math side of things, I've got a 1 and 4. My first thought is leaning towards D. Like I say, it's been a while since I've had a math class, but as far as just the shapes of each of the spirals, A, B, and C all do look fairly consistent. I mean, C a little bit, less so, but it definitely looks to me like D is an outlier compared to the other three. I mean, it obviously, the spiral widens at at some specific rate that I can't quite put my finger on in the moment, but the other ones look a lot more uniform. I mean, they're all spirals, but D just kind of seems like it's got fewer commonalities between the other three. So this is less based on knowledge and more based on, a test-taking process of elimination side of things, but I'm going to go with D on this one.
Oh, too bad.
Nope, not quite. Too bad. The correct answer is A. I'm kind of curious. I kind of hope he gets into some details on that for us. This is a logarithmic spiral. When the golden ratio is the growth factor, it's called a golden spiral. Just as the name implies, you can graph an algebraic spiral using an algebraic equation. B is the Archimedean spiral, C is a parabolic spiral, and D is a lattice, all of which are algebraic spirals. Okay. Still leaves a few questions for me, but maybe I'll look into that later and see if I can learn a bit more on why. So yeah, we're not going to get these all right every time, just like real school. Have to try to remember that, this being school and all, if this question comes up again later. However, A, the logarithmic spiral, is not considered an algebraic spiral. It's a common spiral found in nature, such as on nautilus shells and sunflower seeds. No matter how far you scale it in or out, the shape remains roughly the same. This is called self-similarity.
Isn't that...
Huh. Actually, don't you think it kind of looks like Tartarus? Who the heck even made that place? I gave him the wrong answer. Yeah. Can't win them all.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
I got so caught up in class, even though I was just talking about this whole after-school meeting, that I kind of like, what's going on here, before the wheels, instantly turn. And like, oh yeah, she did have a special request for us.
To make a long story short, I'd like you to join student council.
Oh, well, that's a very direct ask. She definitely did not make it a long story. That instant hesitation. And I mean, I do kind of wish there was more of a middle ground, because I'm not necessarily instantly opposed to the idea. I mean, if I say I'm not so sure, I mean, I like I say, I've got doubts, but this sounds like I'm doubting her specifically. And it does sound like a lot of work, but I've got no real reason to, I don't know, fear that work necessarily. I don't even know how much work she's asking me to do. So I'm kind of torn on, seeing some value in both of these, but neither one really stands out as the answer I would want to give to this situation. Saying it sounds like a lot of work sounds... Oh, how do I put it? Not necessarily lazy, but just like preemptively demotivated, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't even know what I'm being asked, and I'm trying to talk my way out of it. So I think I'm going to lean more towards this side of just saying I'm not so sure. I mean, yeah, it still kind of does question her choosing me, but it seems less like I'm trying to get out of it right away. And maybe she'll follow up to answer this, uncertainty of mine, rather than just being disappointed that I'm trying to get away before even trying. I'm not so sure.
We meet regularly, but I don't expect you to participate every time.
Okay.
Just come to the student council room when you can.
I was kind of just thinking of, that's it. What can I accomplish in that uncertain scheduled format? And again, this why me side of things kind of goes back to, lunch at school. I mean, she wouldn't be asking me if there wasn't a good reason for it. So I'm going to just trust on, her judgment here. And, she picked me. I trust her on that. So I'm not going to doubt why she picked me. I don't think she would throw me into something I wouldn't be capable of doing. So let's just kind of feel out the, this is all you want from me? Like a contractor member of the student council or whatever, coming in on my own time? That's it?
Yes, that's it. All I want is for you to be a member.
Okay, I'm curious.
Being president is very time-consuming. I'd like to have an ally to support me in the event of an emergency.
I appreciate that logic. It also does kind of make me wonder about the rest of the student council, and if she were to bring in a new person that seems to be a plain timid slacker that, doesn't really look all that qualified, maybe they might question if she was leaning into me for support on things, but I also like the thought that she does trust me enough to want me around for that role.
An ally, meaning someone who understands my situation. You know what it means to be a leader, so I'm asking you.
Yep, her logic is sound, and I think this is a good opportunity. So rather than being dismissive and saying, fine, I guess, I'll step up. Yeah, all right, I'll do it.
Excellent. I knew I could count on you. And I've already filed and approved your student council membership on your behalf.
Well, that's especially efficient. Something tells me that this was going to work out in her favor. However, she wanted, no matter what I wanted in this game, she was, 30 moves ahead of us in this.
But you'll have to go to the faculty office on your own to sign everything.
I guess she couldn't do that part for us. Seems like in order to join the student council, I have to go find Miss Toriumi. I need to tell her that I'm going to join student council.
I'm sorry for making arrangements without your permission, but I hope you understand the position I'm in.
I think I'm still kind of scratching the surface on just how busy Mitsuru is, but going to Tartarus with her and living in the dorm with her, I can see how many things she's already doing at this point, on top of whatever else she has, as part of the Kirijo family. So the fact that she wants to trust us with this, I'm going to appreciate it. I'm not going to just see it as more of a burden.
Once you're ready, come to the student council room. I'll be waiting for you there.
All right. Well, like I said a couple days now, Mitsuru has left the classroom. It seems I can join the student council if I submit some paperwork at the faculty office. I should head to the faculty office when I have some free time. So yeah, kind of like I've been saying, not knowing exactly what the day is going to bring or how to plan my time, it's kind of nice to have these surprise things come up and, more or less direct it to like almost feels like an episode, essentially. It's like, this feels like the student council episode now. We had the track team episode last week when we joined the track team. Now Mitsuru wants us to get involved with the student council. I think this is also going to be another way to tie into the world a little bit more, make more of a connection for our school time. So I'll still like walk our way through the school as we go find Miss Toriumi, and I'm leaning towards like headed to the student council room today though, and kind of following the breadcrumbs they're really throwing right at us this whole way here. First and foremost, I'm going to save it. And before we go any further, I always like to get to the end of the school day and start with checking his messages. That's right. Okay. I'm reading all the headlines here. First, we've got Kazushi Miyamoto, head of the track team there. It's Miyamoto. Let's head to practice. I'll show you what I'm made of today for sure. That is tempting. I mean, I don't like being that guy that joins a team and then stops showing up. But we were kind of specifically asked to do the student council side of things, so I'm still mentally prioritizing that a little bit more right now. We got an ad from Wilduck Burger. Spent some time there last night. Have you tried our new burger with unknown ingredients? Plus, now our fries are extra salty. We await your visit, Wild Ducklings. Secret recipe? Mysterious ingredients? Do you have the guts to go Wild Duck? We did. It was a good burger. Seems like the fries left a bit to be desired, but the burger itself seemed good. And Officer Kurosawa. Seeing him text us here reminds me that they'd mentioned that he runs a sale on Mondays, so he's got something for me today. Consider it restitution for you and the others for working diligently every day. So given that, I think what I want to do, we're going to head into town to the Paulownia Mall, stop by Officer Kurosawa and see what's what. We know we've got the time right now. Then we'll make our way back to the school, find Miss Toriumi, and see about joining the student council. I feel like that's a good use of our time. It lets us see some things, talk to some people along the way, and stay current on what's going on around us. See what Junpei's got to say here. Are you the forgetful type? I try to take a lot of notes, but yeah, I'll admit that. They'd better remember to stock up, especially from Officer Kurosawa. I heard from Sanada-san that you can't buy anything from him at night. If you want to go to school, go on a school day, then go right after classes are over. That's kind of perfect. Yeah, that was the plan here. Dude, there are some seriously hot chicks at this school, which is great, but it also makes it harder to approach them. If there's a girl you want to date, you gotta be smart about how you talk to her. Good advice. You might also want to treat her as a person and not just a as not a person. I think I always kind of head this way, so let's go to the other end of the hall. Looks like there's no one new to talk to necessarily. We'll head down here. This nice open lobby area. It's a very spacious lobby. Well, we know the faculty office is down this way, so first off though, we're headed off to the mall to stop in with Officer Kurosawa. We've got a waiting student here. I'm waiting for my boyfriend. We're going to the arcade today. He's totally awesome at video games. Very cool. I just got distracted again and saw Port Island Station. Who wants to stop in and say hi to the cat in the alley? I say as I make that executive decision for us. Let's go say hi to the cat. Still that same Mew, but still nice to see it hanging out with its people back here. As gruff as these guys are, I like to think that, the cat is part of their group. Maybe the leader of their group, who knows? And it still says it's a weak cat, so I hope it gets better one of these days, but it'll kind of be our station mascot here. And while we're here, it looks like the attendant up at the top's got something new to say. Let's check that out. This station plaza has a modern design and space for many different stores. Please abide by the station rules and refrain from littering. I'm the one who has to clean it up. that's kind of a fun point. I've had some work experiences before too, and I remember hearing customers say things kind of like the opposite of that. It's like, oh, they've got someone to take care of that. You can just you can throw that shirt anywhere, or just drop that into that trash anywhere. They've got people for that. And as someone who's worked retail, no, yes, technically there are people that have to deal with that, but if there's a trash 5 feet from you and you decide to throw something on the ground, try to be more considerate, I guess, is my having worked around it advice to everybody. It is appreciated when someone takes those few extra steps and doesn't just assume that there's somebody to do that for them. So I can relate to that station attendant there. Back on track, though, onto the Paulownia Mall. Always different how much more bustling it is during the day, which stands to reason. Different hours, different levels of activity. Everybody's probably getting out of school or work and, headed past the mall. As we've done, let's pop in briefly to the Velvet Room here and just say hi to the residents there. See how their Monday's going, how their week is starting out.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Not here long, just saying hi to you, Igor. Hi, Elizabeth. Hope you're having a great week so far. Thank you as always for your help. I'll keep counting on you.
We look forward to your next visit.
I still just love the design of this little corridor here and how the music fades back in. Another excuse to enjoy visiting it. But the police station for Officer Kurosawa.
You made it.
Still does what he thinks is right. He's out here supporting us. And he is running a sale today. We heard about that the other day. So let's peruse what he's got. I think we're pretty well geared with what he had last time we were here, but...
What'll it be? Running a little sale today. See if anything catches your eye.
I always kind of like the thought, too, that even though he's not really a store per se, he still, he still gets into the, the game of it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run a sale on Monday.
As long as you need.
For these weapons I've got or this armor I've got. It's like, yeah, I'll play store and we'll have a sale on Mondays.
As long as you need.
As far as weapons go, looks like we're current there.
As long as you need.
Yep, same's gonna be true for armor.
What are you looking for?
Yep, we're all good on footwear. And I think we've all got accessories on. All guard bands, yep. So, I guess, let's look and see what's here, but... That pixie dust talisman is nice for a little bit of extra SP. But 4,000 yen is a little less nice. Yeah, I think we want the endurance for a while.
Here is through my personal connections. Whatever you get, and however you use it, just be careful.
Urging caution, yeah. Obvious, but never hurts to have that reminder.
What do you got?
Yeah, we've already sold everything that needs sold. Oh.
You finished?
It was good to stop and see him.
Be seeing you.
We'll have to keep in mind going forward that Mondays are sale days, as he does have new gear for us. We'll want to kind of take advantage of making that just that much cheaper. But on those notes, let's double back to school and find Miss Toriumi. We'll start at the gates like you do. Just kind of taking it all in, seeing all the activity around too. I mean, there was always that time after school where it always seemed to me like people were just in a rush to get out of the building. We didn't really have people congregate that much. I mean, there were definitely some that did, but I mean, I guess the school I went to never really had big wide open spaces like this either. Well, we had some, but it wasn't like, this palatial, space with columns and all that. Although, people all over the halls, I can relate to that side of it. So we were headed for the faculty office. This is where we came a couple weeks ago now to introduce ourselves to Miss Toriumi for the first time.
Oh, what can I do for you?
I like how we do have the option to back out, but we are here about the student council.
Ah, yes. Kirito-san filled me in. All we need is your signature, so read through this and sign here. All right, looks good.
All right, that was easy.
You can leave the rest to me. Good luck in student council.
That's cool. I mean, she's taking care of this for us. I mean, Mitsuru got the paperwork all together, but Miss Toriumi seems genuinely excited. It doesn't seem like we approached her at the after school hours here in the faculty office, and I mean, in a sense, we almost made more work for her. Now she's got this form she's got to submit, but rather than grumble outwardly to us about it, she's excited for us. She wishes us luck. She's going to handle what she needs to handle for it, and we can go about being a member of the student council now. Seems like she's a good teacher in that regard. And so now we have access to the student council room. I believe we saw a classroom with a tarot card above it upstairs, so let's make our way back up. I'm going to take the long way around this time, head down this hall and just see the sights. The music equipment along the area here. Try not to walk through any students along the way. This would take us... let's check out the persimmon tree. That was something else we discovered over the weekend. This tree in the courtyard is actually a persimmon tree, and it's significant to the elderly couple that owns the bookstore at the station mall. We grabbed a couple of those leaves and took it back to show them the tree was doing well. Yeah, so now it's not just a young tree. We know it as persimmon tree. It's actually a nice little change I had forgotten they'd done. A small persimmon tree is growing here. Yep, seems to have a special meaning for the old couple at the bookstore. This tree is a persimmon tree, right? Do you think that it'll bear fruit? I hope so. That'd be cool. Nice to see that. Just another nice excuse to get out here and enjoy this little bit of nature in such a modern, bustling area. I guess, if the student council is looking to meet, we might be delaying them by wandering all over creation other than the student council room. Let's top off that save since it's been a few minutes. But yep, this is the student council room. If the indicator above the door or the name tag of the door didn't really make that clear already. But we are now officially members. Let's stop in and see what responsibilities we have. I got permission to join the student council. Maybe I should introduce myself. Let's do it.
All right, everyone. This is who I've been talking to you about. He'll be joining us in student council starting today.
Ah, so he's the one. I'm Hidetoshi Odagiri. I supervise the disciplinary committee.
Nice to meet you, Odagiri.
I'm Chihiro Fushimi, the treasurer.
Nice to meet you, Chihiro.
I'm a first year, and, I'm still learning the ropes, so please be patient with me.
Absolutely. Kind of taken aback. That's that kindred spirit vibe, but oh yeah, I feel like that. I'm still new to a lot of things, so for all of you out there, I'm still learning the ropes. Please be patient with me. It is nice to meet them. It should go without saying that I'll do my best. I mean, it wouldn't be wrong to assert that that's my commitment to things, but first and foremost, we're a group, and I kind of want to be social with them first. I mean, yeah, the work will follow, but we're going to be working together as the student council, so it's nice to meet all of them. Perhaps he doesn't share that same idea.
You must be quite talented to be handpicked by the president herself.
This was a bit of that friction I had wondered about when this idea was thrown at us.
I look forward to working with you.
Okay. Whether or not he has ulterior motives or other things going through his head on there, at least he followed up with looking forward to working with us. Whether that means he's going to scrutinize why we're here and, what makes us so special, or if he's going to hold us to a different standard because we got handpicked for this, hard to say. But I look forward to working with him as well. I wasn't sure myself, but apparently I think I made a good impression on Odagiri. I joined the student council and got to know the members. I hope I get along with everyone here.
I am thou. Thou art I. Thou hast established a new bond. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Emperor Arcana.
All right, so just like that, we formed a new social link to the student council. This one is the Emperor Arcana. That is rank 1 of the Emperor with the student council. Nice to have, just another level of connection to the school, to the classmates, to the world around me. New responsibilities, and, that shared trust with another group of people. I want to do what I can for them and be part of the group, not just a tourist along for the ride.
It's getting late. Introductions will be enough for today.
There was a part of me that heard her say that and think that that was almost a way of saying, if you didn't go down to the train station and, up to the mall and, stumble through school for a while, maybe we'd have had time to get something done. But no, I don't think, she doesn't mean that per se, but it just, crossed my head as we took the long way to get here. But we are introduced, we're part of the group, so we can dig into actual real work next time.
What we want from you is to assist us as necessary.
Okay, still a little open to interpretation, but I guess that also kind of relies on being able to analyze the moment and make choices and fill in wherever and however is needed. A good sign of trust.
From now on, you have my permission to enter the student council room whenever you wish. Your time is your own after school, but try to remember the student council every now and then.
That's a good point, too. This is another one of those, areas of responsibility, kind of like the track team. I don't want to, we didn't go to track practice today because we're going here, but it's that further developing the spending of our time and I don't want to let it ever go too long between being a responsible member of the groups I'm committed to. I like to make the connections, but, if I join the student council today and then don't show up for 2 more months, am I really a member of the student council? Yeah, most could argue no. So it's one more fun level of balancing things out and being part of the world in a responsible, proper way.
We meet on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but we don't meet on days before tests.
That feels responsible. I wonder if that's a school policy or Mitsuru's policy as the head of the student council. Also, seeing these days highlighted almost makes me think as this playthrough goes forward a bit more, it might be kind of fun to just put together a schedule spreadsheet and just kind of say, okay, on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we could go to track, or Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays could be student council, or, I don't really want to, gamify it in that way. I still want to take it in the moment, but it kind of feels like, there are going to be times where, we'll get to Wednesday and be like, okay, there's, 9 different things we could pick from.
Thanks for coming today.
But yes, this was our first experience with the student council. Nice to be here. I parted ways with the student council members and went back to the dorm. So that was our afternoon after school part of the day.
Welcome back.
Sup, dude? All right. I heard you might be joining the student council. Kirijo-senpai said... Kirijo-senpai, you sure you want to let a slacker like this guy join? I'm not forcing him, but if you're concerned about his work ethic, would you rather join yourself? I'll pass. But thanks for the offer. I like how she turned that around for him. Looks like everybody's got their own thing going on down here. We just got back from school, so what I am going to do is I'm going to first head up to my room and drop my backpack, or my my bag here. We'll drop that off. No sense carrying that around with us. Doesn't really do anything, but it's just that fun little bit of... Feels like that responsible thing after school. It's like, okay, I'm home. I'm going to put my stuff away. I'm not just going to plop down on the couch in the lobby down there and chat with everybody. So, I'm hoping it makes that world feel more like we're in a world again. So let's now head back downstairs. It's been a busy day. Let's take care of some business here. I can feel my mind starting to wander as I wash my hands. I don't think there's anything in particular that needs my attention right now. Love to have days like that. Nothing's like weighing on me necessarily super important right away. As we've been doing, let's keep going. We've got some messages here. We've got a Game Parade newsletter. Come play our popular crane game and try to win a prize. We actually, in one try, we got the prize in the crane game last time we were there. I was quite surprised. Then stick around and hop into one of our many immersive video games. There's great fun to be had, whether you're alone or with friends. We can't wait to see you. And seeing this reminder from Chagall Coffee, we talked about this yesterday as we were looking around the mall, as keeping our options open for looking at part-time work. They'd mentioned Mondays was the first day we could do that. We hope everyone is having a great day. Chagall is looking for someone to work at the cafe today. Students may apply. No experience required. This is a paid position, and the perks include free pheromone coffee. We look forward to meeting you. I'm going to highly consider that. I want to talk to everybody here and, still not fully commit to anything right away, but having that idea planted in our head yesterday, it's tempting to go that route. And I guess as I say that, let's also take a peek and see what choices other people made for today. Yeah, fewer people in Tartarus, as you kind of expect to see at this point. More people are catching up to that barrier floor and not being able to progress beyond it. Everyone's average level is 11, which is the same as us. Floors explored, I think we were technically 22, but that's where the barrier was. So we're right on pace with everybody. And, obviously everybody else did daily life activities. And I still like it every time. There's such a wide variety. It wasn't just like, everybody went and worked at Chagall Coffee because this is the first time you could. People made the same kind of different choices we did. Some people did go to the arcade or get some Wilduck Burger. They went to the ramen place. Some just said, I'm done, I'm going to bed. Can't fault that logic either, necessarily. So there's a variety of things to do. We'll start with the TV, as we've been doing. In past playthroughs of this game, I hadn't necessarily given a lot of time to the TV. It was just kind of one of those afterthoughts, but it's kind of been fun to make this another fixed point on our journey around the campus, or around the dorm. It makes the world again feel just different. And that they break into the news in the middle. It's never like a fresh sentence. Just like you're turning the TV on, the news doesn't wait for you to begin reading. So we're in the middle or the end of an article. Today's exchange rate. The shifting economy has strengthened the dollar against the yen. The current exchange rate is 1 USD to 115 yen. The change marks the yen's 1.4% weakening from yesterday. Some in-depth financial analysis there. We've still got this kitchen back here. We haven't really stopped back in a while to take a look. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot we can do with it yet. Just kind of nice to get off the beaten path again and see what's back here. I think they were going to clean the fridge out at some point. Yeah, they're going to clean it out on May 2nd, which is surprisingly close now. Not that we're looking to put anything in the fridge, but nice to be informed of the schedule of things. We'll interrupt Yukari on her phone again. I don't think I really have time for student council. I'm busy enough with archery, studying, and fighting shadows. It's already kind of a lot. And Kirijo-senpai is just... Actually, it's nothing. Never mind. There have been a lot of not-so-subtle hints about the dynamic between Yukari and Mitsuru. It's kind of going to be interesting to see how that all keeps developing. For my own way of approaching things, I'm definitely the stay-out-of-the-way sort of thing, and let whatever happens without being caught in the crossfire. Is something the matter? Just wanted to chat. As president of the student council, I'm really quite busy. In fact, it's quite rare that I have any time to rest.
Greatly appreciated.
I won't require your help constantly, but stop by the student council room when you have time. I'll look forward to your contributions. Again, I like that trust. It's not just, I need you for this. It's like, I am trusting you. I do need the help. And it's nice to be needed, and I want to live up to that need. I also like the very proper, appearance she has. She's got the posture. She's got, the cup of probably tea there that she's, calmly drinking. Looks every bit the very proper person. Akihiko's, committed to keeping his equipment in tip-top shape. I also appreciate.
That reminds me.
So, I heard Mitsuru ask you to join the student council. Sorry if it feels like you're being forced to, but I'm sure she could really use your help. Well, anyway, it's ultimately up to you, so give it some thought. I like that too. It's like, Akihiko and Mitsuru seem to, they're the same year, so they seem to know each other, and he knows her better than we do. So when he says stuff like that, she actually does want and need the help. It's encouraging that we, stepped up and decided to offer that help. Junpei's working on a game here. I don't want to be that guy and watch over his shoulder, so I guess I'll be that guy and interrupt him instead. Student council, huh? Well, as exciting as that sounds, I think I'll pass. It does sound like more work, but I wouldn't say that it doesn't sound necessarily exciting. I suppose, all things have pros and cons, so it is what it is, but nice to catch up with the group again. We'll head back out here. Kind of as we've been doing. Same time, it's still spring too. It's late April. We'll get that nice evening stroll. Temperatures might be cooling down a little bit. We'll make our way over to the mall, so we're considering, stopping by the coffee place and working there. Nice, just look around this place. I don't see anybody that specifically wants to talk to us about anything, but you know what? We'll say this is practice for the track team. We'll do the loop around the mall here. We'll sprint up these spiral stairs. Back down the other side here. I wonder what would be harder, going up them or down them. Probably irresponsible to be jogging up them either way, but thankfully that's not a concern in game that you have to worry about. That's just a real life thing. I always like to get to this point too and just kind of look back and just see the scale of all this. I like the space like that. I've said it before, it's got all the ads that make it feel more like a real place. Nothing's just a placard above a building. They all look distinct, but also part of a mall. And the station still looks like the station at night. It's dark, there's construction, people are doing what people do. Nothing especially pressing, but nice to see it. Keeps that stroll going. Guess we didn't need to cross back over here, but it didn't hurt us to do it either, so. Off to Paulownia Mall. Yeah, that difference between how crowded it was in the afternoon and how crowded it is now. Still, for the evening, there's a lot going on, but it's not as wall-to-wall people as it had been. Coffee's over there, so let's just check in with the arcade and see what games are available today. We've got High School of Youth, which would raise our charm. It's a dating sim that teaches how to tend to a lady, raises charm. Or Punch Boxer, a boxing game that raises our equipped persona's strength. This was the music place I stopped with Kenji at yesterday as part of our day off. We've got the pharmacy over here. Bought some cat food there this weekend when it was on sale. Maybe one of these days we'll be able to feed that weak cat. We've already said hi to Elizabeth, Igor, Officer Kurosawa. We still can't go in, Club Escapade there because we're not courageous enough. Let's save it real quick here. Yeah, I'm still leaning towards working a bit of a part-time shift at Chagall here. I guess I'll refresh us all on what that does. Yeah, we can work Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesday nights. We get a free cup of coffee for doing so. And we get 2,500 yen. And we also get to work our charm and our courage. So 2 social stats at once. I won't say yes right away because I want to talk about it a little bit. And, there's that gaming side of me that doesn't want to stand in front of the door. So I'm thinking at this point in the game we have 13,970 yen. So better than we had for a while, but we could still be doing better with that. So actually working a job that will pay us, is to our benefit. Once they have more gear available at Officer Kurosawa's, or once we need more medicine from the pharmacy, we'll wish we had those resources. And since we're not in Tartarus, we're not, finding things to sell. I've been prioritizing courage to try to get into Club Escapade over here. And we can work on that by working at the coffee place as well. And we haven't really done a whole lot for charm other than get a question right a week or so back in school. We weren't as lucky today, but... So, there's a lot of things for us to work on, which is kind of nice, and that, there aren't wrong choices in that area. But I feel like, working here tonight checks off a lot of those boxes. And from like a narrative, social high school student standpoint, there's that idea of that part-time job as well, that, it's extra work, it's extra effort, but it's also, being rewarded and compensated. And I remember in school, there was also kind of that almost that freeing vibe of having, some money from a part-time job that just made the world feel like it opened up in real life to me. It's like I wasn't, I had money I could spend on things I wanted to spend it on that I earned. That you learn the value of money too. Then it's like, okay, I worked this many hours for this much yen, and this yen only goes how far? This is one stop at Wilduck Burger. Maybe I should be a bit more fiscally responsible with some of my choices here. As much as, it would be fun to just, stop at the arcade and throw some money at that instead, I feel like as a more well-rounded member of society, I guess, our character here is going to do the unthinkable and get a part-time job, and give back while also reaping those benefits of having a job. So I did just save it, to be doubly sure. Tonight we are going to apply as a part-time worker at Chagall Coffee. We've only been in there briefly with Yuko one time after school when we walked home together. We'll be on the other side of the counter this time. I was talking through that. Let me reread that. I want to make sure I'm working at the cafe and not just going as a guest. Should I spend the night? Yes. Okay, there's where it asks. We could just buy a coffee to raise our charm, but they're actually compensating us with, some coffee alongside our work and our wage. So we're going to cheerfully serve coffee to raise charm and courage as we work part-time. Looks like a nice place. I sweated it out while working part-time as a waiter. I cleaned up efficiently and received compliments from other staff members. A drunken businessman tried to pick a fight with me, but I did my best to deal with him. Well, how's that for a first day? Thankfully, I don't remember ever having to deal with an openly hostile drunken person in any work I've done. Hopefully it doesn't come to that anytime soon either. Here's the manager. Here's your paycheck for today. Try to use it wisely. Nice to see some income there that we actually earned ourselves. It's that much sweeter to have actually earned it. After dealing with difficult customers, I feel like my charm and courage have increased. Oh, still plain, still timid, still a slacker. Oh. Yep, I was right. Still plain, still timid, still a slacker. But like I've also been saying, these aren't going to raise overnight. You don't go from being timid to being, courageous, in like the flip of a switch. It's going to take time. It's going to build at its own pace as we keep working on it. That's kind of the point of all these. So, like I've been saying, we're one step closer on each of those now. It's getting late. I should head back to the dorm. Okay. We'll break away there so we don't spoil anything that's not going to happen until tomorrow. Let's get back to the desk and talk about it. I feel like that was another good day. Kind of feels like a productive start to the week. And once again, we weren't in Tartarus, but it's the start of a new week. It was Monday. We got back into school. We had that special assembly with the principal this morning. We got to kind of hear his take on Mitsuru's speech from last week. And I still feel like he gave us some good, actionable information. It wasn't just him feeling like he wanted to try to compete with a high school student. He was sharing still valuable information with us. And I always liked assemblies in school, so for me, that was kind of that nice break from class that I enjoyed as a trip down memory lane. We got approached by Mitsuru at lunch, offering, at that point, an unknown task that she thought we would be perfect for. And then kind of, that teaser of, I'll let you know after school. So from there, we had a question about math in the afternoon that I proved math is not my strongest point. So we weren't right on which spiral was the non-algebraic one, I think was the question. But, I mean, you won't get them all right. I mean, okay, some of you will, but I won't get them all right. But that's okay. I mean, I'm a student in school. I'm there to learn. I haven't had to deal with, math questions like that in a while, so I'm not using a guide. It's almost, how do I put it? I almost liked getting that one wrong because it feels more like a unique playthrough to my own side of things then. I'm not just gaming the system and, looking up the right answer ahead of time and essentially cheating in class. I legitimately got that wrong, and it wasn't the end of the world. Sure, I mean, it might have been, more advantageous to get it right, but it's more authentic, I guess, to try to talk it out, to reason it out, and still not get it right. I was probably way off on my logic since I got the question wrong in the first place, but I at least tried to justify it. It wasn't just like a, 2 coin tosses and, I'll pick D. It's like I tried to talk my way through it at least. And I got it wrong, but it's also something to try to remember going forward too. It's like, if we have any, need to use that knowledge later, it could be there, kicking around the back of my head. I also liked how after the fact Junpei kind of related it to Tartarus. And, the math teacher had mentioned you see, that spiral in nature quite often. And, Junpei, related that to seeing it in Tartarus and wondering about the natural order of Tartarus. And that was just kind of a fun tie-in to the stuff that we're dealing with as members of SEAS. And the questions that we all still have about the Dark Hour and Tartarus and the shadows and all that. So on that academic misstep, we finished the school day. Mitsuru came back to reveal the task she had planned for us was wanting us to join the student council, which was kind of a surprise. I mean, there was no reason to necessarily assume that was the task she had for us. She is the president of the student council, but she's also got her hand in a lot of different activities, so we were a little apprehensive on, why we were chosen, what our responsibilities would be. But she assured us that she trusts us and she could use the help. And she's taken great care of us so far. I mean, if you remember a couple weeks ago that, a week or so we were recovering in the hospital and she took care of all the paperwork there for us and, made sure everything we had was taken care of and all of our needs were fulfilled. So she's been watching out for us probably more than we're even aware at this point. And when she reaches out to ask us for help, it seems unfair to turn her away. I mean, she's trusting us with that, so I want to live up to that trust. So she said we had to stop by the faculty office and, fill out sign the paperwork that she had prepared for us. And we decided to, to pop over to the mall real quick and, check in on Officer Kurosawa since he was offering a sale. We didn't end up buying anything because there was nothing we specifically needed, but it just kind of reinforced that different businesses have different sales. So we'll keep that in mind going forward. We checked in on the Weak Cat. Still doing as good as it can do. Nice to see it still down there, holding the group together at the other station there. And on that, I guess, we made our way back to school. Took a walk through a couple different corridors we hadn't gone down in a while, and rounded up, upstairs back to the student council room. Now, I guess, before that we did stop by the faculty office like we were directed, and, met with Miss Toriumi, our teacher, to sign the forms properly. And I remember being encouraged at that point that she seemed like she was genuinely excited for us. Like she did wish us luck. She didn't see this as, us making more work for her after school when she just wanted to end her day. So I appreciated that as a student that knows I was making, technically more work for her with this new paperwork. But then we headed back upstairs to the student council room and met the student council. We met the head of the disciplinary side of things, Odagiri. We met the treasurer that first year, Chihiro. I was able to relate to her, timid nature a little bit. A lot. A little bit. No, it was, almost 1-to-1. But I'm getting there. And we just kind of got that refresher from Mitsuru on the role that she has as student council president and the flexibility she wants us to have there as well. She doesn't expect us there every single day after school. And we're not supposedly going to be buried in paperwork. We're just there to kind of step in and lend support to the council when and where we can. So it's nice to have that level of trust and still that level of freedom. It's not like we need to, hard commit to spending all of our time, letting the student council life consume us. It's also kind of that structure I talked about as well, the same reason as the track team of knowing that I took on this responsibility by choice. It kind of, gives me somewhere to spend time after school in something that I chose to do. I guess, That all relates back to that contract we signed that first night 3 weeks ago, and that I basically agreed to take responsibility for my choices and my actions. This is just a continuation of that. We signed up for the student council. There are expectations that come along with that, and I want to try to live up to those as best I can going forward from here. So we joined the student council after school, and that was nice. We unlocked another arcana, the Emperor Arcana this time. So we developed a new social link, which will only help us going forward. And I guess that took us to the evening then. We got back to the dorm, tried to kind of take it easy normally. Dropped our bag off up in our room before we headed downstairs. Checked out the news, watched some financial information there. Talked to everybody around the dorm, about student council. That was kind of the running theme throughout today's play. And their different take on the role of student council, the work of student council, the being there as a leader to grow and change and to help people that need help. All good things to hear. And it's just been nice to catch up with all of them after school and see them doing different things every day too. I remember Junpei playing a game on the couch there, just looking totally focused on that. And I could totally relate to that too. Mitsuru had her tea, but at the same time Akihiko was keeping his boxing mitts in tip-top shape. And the thing that kind of struck me today that I didn't actually comment in the moment that just returned to me now was he's still recovering from that shadow attack from a couple weeks ago. So he mentioned the other day, he hasn't even been to the boxing club, let alone to Tartarus with us. And yet we've seen multiple nights of him, meticulously maintaining his boxing gear there. So I like the fact that he hasn't been using it, but as the professional he is, as the one who respects the sport, he's still taking the utmost care of the tools of the trade. That just, without saying anything, speaks a lot about his type of character, and I like those little details. But after checking in with everybody at the dorm, we headed out once again, we had an idea, we had that text message from the coffee place about, them looking for part-time workers. And it kind of fit in line with our, option to, gain some courage. So I took the long way around. We stopped through, the station mall and popped by the arcade to see what games were available at the Paulownia Mall before working our way over to the Chagall coffee place. And it was nice to, I guess, take on that responsibility of the part-time job. It was definitely still work, and it would have been easier and probably more fun as a student to just, get out of a busy day of school and, go get something good to eat at the Wilduck Burger or go play a game at the arcade. But, this was in line with, our short-term and long-term goals of becoming more courageous. This also helped with our charm a little bit. It gave us some yen that we actually earned ourselves, so there was that responsible side of things. But more than that, it just kind of was another new activity as a member of this world. We visited Chagall as a customer a few days ago, so we got to work on the other side of it here. And I'm sure it was work, but we got compensated, I would say, quite fairly for it. And it just keeps these playthroughs that much more varied. We weren't, doing the same tasks over and over and over again. I mean, and going forward, there will be repeats, obviously. There's only so many things that can be done in the world, but I like the amount of choices we already have. It's not just, you've understood my formula of how I play, and I go to school, and then I go talk to this person, and then I do this in the evening, and I rinse and repeat until we have to go to Tartarus again. It gives me something hopefully fun to talk about too, and that I can reason out my thoughts on where we're going and why we're doing that, and hopefully making this playthrough feel more like a unique story as opposed to just another playthrough of the same game. Even though, the broad story points are going to be the same from one playthrough to the next. Hopefully I'm adding just that little bit more that sets it apart a little bit. I guess as I get to that, we finished our work at the coffee place and headed back to the dorm for the night. There was no trip to Tartarus tonight because we spent our evening working. So we wrapped up what turned out to be a rather busy day. Probably nice to get home and get to bed at that point after, being on my feet and going all day. But it was also a day of accomplishment, I feel like. Looking back on all the different things we did, I feel like it was a good day overall. So on all those notes, I want to thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Tom Shima. It's been great to have you here. I'm going to continue this playthrough of Persona 3 Reload in my Persona a Day series every day. I'm live here on Twitch at 12:30 Eastern Time. And every day after the stream, I prepare an archive of what we did and I upload it to my YouTube channel. So you can catch up on all that at your own pace, whether you want to be here live or if you want to watch today's episode later or catch up on some in the past. There are options out there for you, however works best for you. So I hope April 27th is a fantastic day for you, whatever you're up to. If it's been a busy one, I hope it gets easier. If it's been easy, I hope it stays fun and easy. And yes, once again, I have been Tom Shima. I hope I can keep seeing you as we go forward from here. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much, and goodbye. With that, we've reached the end of the day. Please look forward to next time to see where the game goes from here. This journey is being streamed live on my Twitch channel if you'd like to be there in person for the experience. Links and schedule details can be found in the description. I'll keep uploading each day's session to this channel so you can keep watching here. Once again, I'm Tom Shima. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again as I continue the series, Persona a Day. What will tomorrow bring?